Okay, here we go. This is the flight manual, a maintenance manual for this pipistrelle Sinus, and I'm page 90, where the landing is explained. I will tell how to do the landing by the book, and I will tell the very important facts. It's not a complete explanation, but it's a brief explanation of what is relevant. So the book says that final speed should be with normal winds, calm or not so strong winds. The normal approach speed is 50 knots, so we are on final now 50 knots. We are flying with full flaps, full flaperons at position number 2, which is plus 18 degrees, full flaps. And the book basically says that we have air brakes with this aircraft, and we should be using it as needed during the final. The book also says that when we are about 50 feet, 25, 50 feet over the runway, over the ground, at that moment this book says that air brakes should be deployed, fully deployed. And at that moment, from that moment, air brakes stays fully open during flaring and during the rolling of the aircraft on the runway until it's stopped. Then they must be closed. They can be closed. Of course, if the wind is very strong, they could stay open. The other thing the book says is that to use the air brakes with one hand while you flying with the stick with the other hand, and keep your hands all the time on the air brake lever. So now we are 20, 30, 50 feet above the ground. We have the flaperons on the full position, full flaps. We are flying at 50. We have the air brakes fully open. At that moment we can start flaring as needed. So flying from 50 knots, we flare at about, let's say, 40 knots. The plane will flare. The speed will reduce. At a certain moment, the airplane will touch down, will set down. We have a nose wheel airplane, so we'll keep the stick back to keep the nose wheel off the ground as long as possible. And if you do a landing like this, it is impossible to crash, because if the worst comes to worst and you do a bad flaring, you will bounce, yes, but you will bounce just a little, maybe one time, maximum two, and in that case you'll do nothing, because bouncing tends to dampen by itself. You have a law